What made you ban Avatar The Last Airbender from your home forever? My 16-year-old son Cassius nearly lost his life from a kitchen fire. He rushed out through the thick smoke carrying our 8-year-old in his arms, while the left side of his face melted. At the hospital, the doctors told us that the burnt skin left a dark scar. When we were left alone with our kids, my wife sobbed, whispering, "It's all my fault. I left them alone for just 10 minutes to pick up groceries. I should have brought Ruby with me." Cassius woke up and said weakly, "It was an accident, Dad. She won't play in the kitchen again." After the accident, Cassius's social life took a hit. He'd come home from school with his hood up, telling me kids wouldn't sit near him at lunch. It broke my heart watching him push food around his plate. Then one day, he bounced through the door grinning. "Some girl said I looked cool like Prince Zuko from Avatar." That night, we binge-watched the show together. "I'm your Avatar," Ruby yelled excitedly. "You mean Azula since we're siblings," Cassius corrected. Ruby started following Cassius everywhere, calling him her Zuzu in an adorable way. I thought it was cute, especially when she'd copy his Tai Chi moves in the backyard. The cartoon show really livened up the family again. Cassius stood taller and spoke with confidence, always quoting the show about honor and strength. I felt so relieved seeing him happy again, and bragged to my coworkers about how we've healed all the emotional scars. Looking back, I realize now just how wrong I was. One night, I found Cassius rummaging through Ruby's drawers with a flashlight, saying, "I thought I smelled smoke in here. Can't be too careful." In the morning, when Ruby wanted to help cook breakfast, Cassius dragged her out the kitchen by the wrist. "Do you want another accident?" he snapped. The venom in his voice shocked me, but still, I backed him up. "He's just being protective," I told Ruby. Everything exploded at her birthday. She leaned over to blow out her candles like any kid would, when Cassius suddenly shoved the entire table. "Get back!" The cake splattered across the floor while Ruby stood there in shock. Guests left in a hurry while Ruby ran to her room crying. I couldn't stand it anymore and yelled, "What's wrong with you?" His eyes went cold in a way that made me step back. "Didn't you see that crazed smile she made in front of the flames? She was about to use her firebending to hurt us again." I slammed my hands on the table. "She's a child blowing out birthday candles." He stood up slowly, towering over me. "That's what she wants you to think, Dad." My wife begged me to get him therapy, but I said no. What this family needs is fresh air and a change of scenery. The next weekend we planned a family barbecue. Things finally started feeling normal. My wife set up the picnic, Cassius worked on the bonfire, and I stood by the grill teaching Ruby how to flip burgers. Suddenly Cassius shouted, "Step away from her, now!" I glanced over and saw him standing holding our camping torch. Nostrils flared while he stared back at me with a look that made my blood freeze. Before I could even process what was happening, Cassius rushed over and swung the torch at Ruby. She screamed and jumped back as I shoved her behind me. The flame caught my shirt and rapidly spread. Pain seared across my chest like nothing I'd ever felt. I rolled on the ground panicking while he yelled, "She's making you her puppet. Azula always lies." Cassius turned his attention back to Ruby and held the torch up in the air again. My wife ran out and pulled Ruby to her, just as Cassius brought the torch down. It grazed my wife's arm, causing her to shriek and cover the burn with her hand. Ruby sobbed, her little voice breaking. "I'm sorry, Zuzu, I'm sorry." But Cassius advanced on her with an angrier expression. "Azula, tell them the truth. Admit that the fire was on purpose, that you tried to kill me." When Ruby denied it, Cassius took in a deep breath and held up the torch one last time. "Then you leave me no choice. This is for honor, for the Avatar." Pure adrenaline kicked in and I tackled him to the ground, my shirt still smoking. The torch rolled away, igniting the dry grass while we wrestled. My own son felt like a stranger beneath me. "The kitchen fire was her first attempt," he screamed, spit flying in my face. "She's been working with the Fire Nation, trying to lower our guard to hurt more people." I couldn't believe the words coming from my boy. The neighbors must have heard the commotion because suddenly 3 men were helping me pin Cassius down while someone called 911. Even restrained, he kept ranting about Ruby's true nature and her Fire Nation evil while she cowered behind her mother. I looked down at the burns spreading across my chest, at my wife clutching her bleeding arm, at my 8-year-old daughter hyperventilating in the corner of our yard. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone," Ruby kept whispering, and it shattered what was left of my heart. The family was never the same after that. 3 of us carry burn marks, but all of us were emotionally scarred. Ruby sometimes crawls into our bed at night, sobbing under the covers, apologizing for hurting us. We told everyone it was an accident, but later filed a restraining order when I saw him standing across the street holding a firebending stance. Yesterday, I found letters in our mailbox addressed to Azula, threatening, "When I find the Avatar, the Fire Nation will finally fall with your death."